Finally, Patrick Willis has been inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's on his way to Canton, Ohio. This was way overdue. Patrick Willis should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt. He's the greatest linebacker to ever play the game, the greatest inside linebacker to ever play the game. The reason I am a Niners fan is because of Patrick Willis. What didn't he do on the field? Drafted 11th overall, of course, in 2007. His career seemed very short, I'm not going to lie. He only played 8 years, but in those 8 years, he very quickly established himself as the league's top premier defender, or one of the league's top premier defensive players. He amassed 7 Pro Bowl selections, earned first-team All-Pro honors 5 different times. Total tackles was 950. He had 60 tackles for loss, 41 quarterback hits, 20.5 sacks, 8 interceptions with 2 scores, 53 passes defended. And one of the biggest ones here, 16 forced fumbles. He is one of the most hard-hitting linebackers to ever play the game. Probably just one of the most hard-hitting players ever. He exceeded 100 tackles in 6 of his 8 seasons. He led the league in tackles twice as a rookie in 2007 and then again in 2009. So what Patrick Willis did for the Niners, slim to none. I mean, it's funny. It's crazy because I see a lot of similarities between Fred Warner and Patrick Willis, the way they both played the game, all over the field from sideline to sideline. They were great. They're both great in, pass coverage, big hitters. Patrick Willis laid some of the biggest hits ever. Just some off the top of my head. The Reggie Bush hit, I believe in 2011 or 2012, when he absolutely lit up Reggie Bush. The Steven Jackson's hits, the battles between Marshawn Lynch and Fred Warner during the Harbaugh era. I mean, he was the leader for the defense, every single year he was with the Niners. The vocal guy on the team, the guy that everybody, the leader and that guy on defense is what Patrick Willis was. Pivotal role in obviously the 49ers resurgence during the early 2010s. He helped lead this defense to 3 NFC championships, also a Super Bowl appearance in 2012, which that Super Bowl still pains me because we were the better team that year. We were the more explosive team that year, and obviously the Ravens got the best of us special teams wise in that Super Bowl. But I'll never forget the Blant holding call that I believe Jimmy Smith had on Michael Crabtree. I think it was Jimmy Smith. Don't quote me on that. But he held Michael Crabtree on that last play, and the Niners should have been on the 1-yard line to win the football game. Nobody can tell me otherwise. But yeah, that one still pains me because guys like Willis and Joe Staley and Frank Gore and Anquan Bolden, Crabtree, Vernon, like those guys deserved a ring. Justin Smith, Eric Reed and Sean, like all of those guys back then deserved a ring. And it pains me to know that they didn't get a ring. And it's going to pain me even more if some guys on this current team don't get a ring and don't get the win and don't get a ring on Sunday, because the team's way too good not to be world champions. But yeah, man, again, shout out to Willis. He's going to be immortalized in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as one of the greatest linebackers in NFL history. Nobody else more deserving. Again, very overdue. Yeah, man. I mean, he's been in our 49ers Hall of Fame since 2021. He entered the Pro Football or the College Football Hall of Fame in 2019. So, again, very overdue. Guy should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer without a doubt. He was a big inspiration to me growing up. Again, my favorite player. The reason I am a Niners fan through and throughout. But yeah, man. Good night for Niners fans. We're 3 days until the Super Bowl. We get the news that Christian McCaffrey wins Offensive Player of the Year, and now the greatest linebacker ever has finally been inducted into the Hall of Fame after some, years that went by where he wasn't inducted and which he should have been. But yeah, man, shout out to Patrick Willis. It is about damn time that this happened. Yeah, kind of at a loss for words. I mean, Willis was that guy in the NFL. He was that linebacker in the NFL. Obviously, great linebackers back then, but with Ray Lewis and Bobby Wagner. But Niners fans know, man, Patrick Willis was just different. Yeah, shout out P. Willis. Glad to see you finally in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Greatest to ever do it. Nobody can tell me nothing. But yeah, as always, go Niners. Obviously, let me know your guys' thoughts about this finally happening. But yeah, as always, go Niners. 3 days away from Super Bowl 58. I'm pumped. 1 win away, 72 hours away from the Niners potentially hoisting that Lombardi. And yeah, so let's not make this season 2012. Let's actually go out here and win this Super Bowl for these guys on the team and some of these veteran players, because I don't want to be talking 8 years from now about this Super Bowl and how we should have won it and this and that. So get the job done. Job's not finished. Go Niners. I'll see you guys in the next one.